This game either turns you into an intellectual monster or reminds you that you should have stayed in school. The questions are simple, difficult, confusing, and sometimes even annoying. It's a mixed selection. This challenge drove me crazy. Which bird has the fastest speed? I don't know. I really don't know. And how am I supposed to know if I'm not an ornithologist? I can choose between a red-tailed tropic bird or a magnificent frigate bird. I might as well take a chance. I'm betting on the white one. Or this question, which animals are the lightest and heaviest? The killer whale is of course the heaviest, but the other two, I don't know. The question is if the sea otter is heavier than the cormorant. I'll take another chance. Yeah, that was right. Pure luck, to be honest. This version of Planet Quiz contains the base game as well as some DLCs. This is the ocean expansion that revolves a lot around wildlife, reefs and islands. I think the most difficult questions are those about animals. For example, arrange the animals from the shortest living to the longest living. This is the type of question that feels completely impossible. A snake, sea urchin or a bird. How can you figure out which animal lives the longest if you don't know it beforehand? It will be another guess. And I was wrong again. Of course, the sea urchin lives the longest. I guess everyone knows that. There are 3 different levels of difficulty, easy, medium and hard. To unlock a new level, you have to get a certain percentage of correct answers. In campaign mode, you have to answer 21 questions. I think that's a bit too many. In the base game, you only had to answer 10 to get to the next level. Now you have to do more than that. These DLCs make me feel slower than ever. Some questions are really hard, regardless of difficulty level, but you learn a lot. Did you know, for example, that a Greenland shark can live to be almost 400 years old? Or that Andrew's beaked whale is a creature that no one has ever seen alive? They have only been seen when they have stranded on beaches. It's fascinating, but why do you need this knowledge? Well, because there is another challenge in this game called Trivia. Here you must know pure facts to answer correctly. So if you want to succeed here, you have to study and have knowledge about all the fish, birds, islands and reefs. And there is a lot to read in this game. In Quizpedia there is information about everything you need to know to get by in the game. Another DLC is about mysteries, and I must say that there are some questions and information that are really interesting. Apparently, there is a place on Earth called the Door to Hell. This is a crater filled with natural gas that the Russians ignited 50 years ago. They thought that if they set fire to the gas, it will eventually stop. But it hasn't stopped, and the fire is still going on today, 50 years later. For those who love questions about forest life, there is also a DLC called just Forest Life. Here are questions about rainforests, animals and trees. By the way, I wonder why there are so many questions about animals in this game. It is a recurring theme in most subjects. Planet Quiz is a game that, together with all expansions, can test your knowledge on all possible subjects. A lot is about locating different places or knowing what is the longest and shortest, youngest and oldest and so on. It gets a bit monotonous, and I personally prefer to play the game in small doses. Pick up the Switch, answer a few questions, then put the game aside. In my first review of the game, I mentioned that the developers should have made a more interesting way to play. In other words, more variety. Unfortunately, I don't think the expansions contribute to making it more interesting. Except that you get more questions on other topics. However, I can recommend playing the game handheld without controls. It works very well as a point-and-click game. In addition, there is the possibility to challenge your friends in multiplayer mode, which can be entertaining if you like to compete against others. But I can recommend this if you want a quiz game that challenges you in different subjects. Feel free to subscribe to my channel, I review new games every week. Have a nice day, see ya!